Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel. I just have to address this bizarre phenomena, and I feel like I talk about it a lot. You know, it kind of comes in clumps. Occasionally, I'll put out a lot of videos about it when it's relevant. You know, when it's relevant to what's going on in entertainment. But it's so interesting, the behavior that it elicits, because I'm not what I would call a popular YouTube channel, right? I'm pretty small time, right around 16,000 subs. It stays right there usually. When my interests and opinions happen to align with whatever the accepted outrage is, then I'll get a huge influx of subscriptions, and a few of those are sincere. But I know for the most part they'll be gone the next time I happen to say something that doesn't agree with the menace gods, and the fandoms and outrage and whatnot. So they come and go, and whatever. I know that. This is, I have integrity. I'm sincere. When I give you an opinion, it's the real opinion. It's not just because it happens to align with what's going to get me them clicks. But what I don't understand is whenever I talk about how you shouldn't go see these movies. You shouldn't go see the garbage that Hollywood keeps shoveling out. If you just didn't agree with me, if you just thought I was ridiculous or whatever, then Professor Geek, screw that guy, whatever. Some small-time YouTuber, he's not an influence on my life. I'm going to go see the movie I want to. And you would just do it. But that's not the case. Every time I talk about how these movies are actually, and going to see these movies, you're just playing into it. It doesn't matter if you're giving it a bad review or whatever. People, I've never seen pushback like I do when I talk about that. It happened with the Joker, Spider-Man No Way Home, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, now The Flash. It's not enough for people just to say, yeah, whatever, I disagree, and go see the movie. They need to combat that sentiment, because I've pointed out that the Emperor has no clothes, and they don't want that message to get out there. It's very important to people that they can still be thought of as the outrage, the fans who are fighting the good fight, and they're changing Hollywood, and they still want to be thought of as that, but they're terrified at the thought of not being able to go see these movies, not being in the know, not being, that fear of missing out. They've got to know. And I've heard every level of justification for why, no, you should be allowed to go see these movies. These YouTube channels, they need to go see it and do these reviews because they watch it so that we don't have to. Their ticket is in place of a lot of our baloney. No, that's not how that works at all. YouTuber X goes out, sees a movie, trashes it, gets a bunch of videos worth of, oh, this is garbage, and now the ratings and the ticket sales and he cashes in on all those clicks that he gets there, and then the people watching it, yeah, it is funny, it is hilarious, you know what, I've got to go see this dumpster fire, I want in on this joke. It just pushes more people to go see it. It just pushes the promotion of it. Who cares what you think of it once you bought your ticket? All you've told the company is, here's my ticket money, I'm going to say some stuff after this, but you don't have to worry about it because I'll be here the next time to give you that ticket money again for whatever you put out. That doesn't work. That argument doesn't work. Oh, but I'm just seeing it because this actor's in it. I'm just seeing it because I'm a fan of the character, and I just, I don't care I just want to see blah, 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 blah. Look, if you are against what the studios are doing, not if you're not, like if you're somebody who, oh, I think the Flash looks amazing, I love what they're doing, Warner Bros. Gets an A+ from me, then it makes perfect sense you would go see this movie. If you have anger towards these companies, if you don't think they're handling these characters correctly, and you should have seen, no one needs to go give Flash a chance, you can see that coming from a mile, that it's going to be garbage, then you don't need to go see it. That's something wrong. It's an addiction. It's something in the level of passion in which people will desperately argue that, no, it is okay for me to go see it. We should go see it still, and I'm still fighting the good fight. And they need this illusion. They need this lie to still be propagated, and they don't like it. Even when some small little YouTuber dares point it out that this doesn't make sense and this is silly. No, shut that guy up. They need this lie. They need to live into this, and it makes sense that other YouTubers who cash in on this outrage, it makes sense why they would be invested in this. But they have the YouTubers themselves, the people that just the average viewers, so locked into this, and it's always kind of been a mystery to me. I mean, I understood that it has to do with sort of, they don't like people pointing out that the Emperor has no clothes, or, that kind of phenomena, but why? And I started to kind of think of it in a different way recently. I had mentioned that, and I want to give him credit because he's the one who brought my attention to this documentary in some of his videos. But Adam Post, in a lot of his videos, a handful of weeks ago or whatever, was pushing this documentary that's for free to watch on YouTube. I'll try and find it and put a link on it in the description. It's kind of a long, belabored documentary, but it's about how there was a conscious effort to turn American culture into a consumerist culture. And I don't mean that word, like I sometimes even hate to use the word consumerism because it sounds sort of hippie-ish, right? Oh, down with capitalism, man. That's not what it's talking about. That's not what I'm talking about when I say that consumerism is the problem. There's nothing wrong with capitalism. Free market's great, Consumerism, though, is the sort of replacement about what makes a replacement of what makes us human with the need to consume the next new thing. It's very dystopian, kind of like dystopian futures fiction from the 80s or whatever. It's like we're there, cyberpunk or something. And I saw that and I some other people have talked about it. Michael Knowles even mentioned it on a recent video he had, and he contextualized it in the fact that people don't even have hobbies anymore. And that really kind of clicked in my mind. I thought, oh man, that's it. Because I teach college college students, and young adults, college students. It used to be back in the day. It was like the movie Animal House or something. There's not even like frat, partying going on. There's not anything. College campuses are nothing like what they used to be, even for like the sake of just like hobbies and extracurricular activities. Because when anybody gets a free moment, they pick up their phone and they scroll through TikTok. Click, click. That's like all they've got the attention span for, is that 15 seconds or whatever a TikTok video can be. That's all they've got for it. Click. They don't even watch movies. God forbid they open a book. It's a consumerist culture. Even if they're not buying something, they're consuming what the media is putting out, in mass media. That's what they need to do. And we're seeing that over and over. I know so many young people that just have no interest. Do you have any hobbies? Just nothing. If they do have a sport or an extracurricular activity, it's in order to get into college or something. I mean, they just don't have anything passionate about that they love. I've talked before on my channel. I remember when I was a teenager, people had bands, and you were loyal to this band, and you loved these people's music. Some people were more into music than others. I was really into it. That's not even a thing anymore. Nobody even knows what an album is. You certainly don't know any lyrics from one of your favorite songs. If you know anything, it's just a sort of a very short little clip from some YouTube artist that put out, one song, on iTunes or something. Culture's being lost. Culture's being lost because it's more about just consumerism. It's like people just want to plug in and receive what they're given. They don't want to follow their interests. They don't want to cultivate interests. They don't want to cultivate hobbies. They don't want to cultivate their soul, for crying out loud. Now, what does that have to do with the whole movie thing? People going to see movies when it's so abundantly obvious to them that they shouldn't, is because they can't not consume. They've been so conditioned to consume. Oh, but it's going to be hilarious, and I need to go watch that one. Oh, but that one's going to, it's going to have this person in it, and I need to, I need to give it a chance if I'm going to review it. Why do you need to review it? You know it's garbage, but people can't break that conditioning. They are consumers at the heart. And, I joke and say consumers, OOMR, but it's just really that consumerism. They've been conditioned to it from birth, especially younger generations. It's what they've been taught and conditioned to do, and they don't know how to stand up. They have no self-control. And it's sad because if they can't even say no to seeing a movie based on principles that they hold, again, I'm not talking about people who don't have those principles. If you love everything Hollywood's doing right now, then it makes perfect sense you'd go see these movies. I'm talking about people who buy into this fight, who don't like what Hollywood's doing with these franchises, who do think that they're mishandling the characters, who think it's a tragedy that Ezra Miller just gets a slap on the wrist and gets his own movie and all of this nonsense, who think it's ridiculous that they would try to pass this movie off. We'll just market the Michael Keaton stuff, and people will go see it. Those simps have a short memory. They'll go see it. They're weak. They're not going to be able to say no. And then it'll be enough to springboard a new DC or whatever. Hollywood learned that lesson a long time ago. Member berries work. We can do whatever we want. Those simps will come back as long as we drizzle enough member berry sauce over something. And they can do whatever they want. They can do nothing but Birds of Prey style films for the next 3 years. All they have to do is drop a few member berries over the next one, and you'll come back in full force, fund it, and they will be funded for the next crap that they want to do. because people just are consumers. I finally clicked that together. It's, I've been joking and saying the consume kind of thing, but no, it really is this consumerist culture that we have, which has supplanted anything like actual culture. And that doesn't let stories really do the work they should do. Stories should be organic, and they should grow, when it comes to the point where they're becoming a mythology, they should grow according to audience feedback, and they become vital to a culture. I don't even know if our culture is such anymore, or it's fast becoming a culture in which we can't even have that relationship with stories anymore. Stories are just there to be consumed in the moment, and then, or whatever, what's next coming down the line, People don't have the connection, the depth. People don't have the depth. Attention span, not to say anything of that. They don't have the depth. They certainly don't have the integrity or the self-control to stand up for principles. And that's why when I come out and say this stuff, I'm sure there are some people who just say, yeah, whatever, and they go do what they want. But I never get this kind of pushback on any of the things I say that people disagree with. And I say a lot of things people disagree with, but I never get the kind of, oh, you gotta shut you up, no, and combating this concept than I do when I tell people you shouldn't go see these movies. If you think that, if you want the change, then you need to stop going to give them your ticket money. There's no excuse for it. There's no, I just got to review it. There's no, oh, well, I'm just going so I can laugh at it. There's no. And you buy into these channels that make sure they go watch all of these things and tell you about it. You're just feeding that beast, because that's just a click machine. We're going to ride whatever the algorithm tells us to, so we can keep getting them subs, baby, getting those clicks, getting that monetization. That's all that's about. You're not a part of any movement. You're just a pawn. You're just being preyed upon, and you're willfully doing it, wagging your little tail as you go buy your ticket for the next one. It's ridiculous. I don't expect people to believe or to agree with me on anything I say, but this is the one issue that they can't even just disagree with me. They've got to combat this sentiment. If enough people start to believe what I say, then they don't get to still hold that card-carrying, we're fighting the good fight card as a fan, and yet still go see the movies. And that's a world they don't want to live in which they cannot be considered part of the fandom menace or whatever, somebody who's trying to affect change, and yet still be able to go see all these movies. That's an incongruency they can't even handle. It's sad. People need to cultivate your interests, cultivate your integrity. If you believe these things, then stand up for it. Go for the heaven's sake, go find something to do with your life, with your spare time, then watch outrage YouTube videos about them. Not that there's anything wrong with outrage YouTube videos in their place, but it's become like junk food for people's soul. It's ridiculous how it's become. And I say that as somebody who made outrage videos before, whenever I actually genuinely feel outrage, but I don't just follow an algorithm, And it's a weird world we're living in. It's becoming even weirder. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out on my own channel, which I have every right to do, as much as it gets your little panties in a twist. But that's all I've got to say on that. Thanks for watching. Happy Father's Day again to those fathers out there. And until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the true blue hero stories you love. Thanks for watching.